I noted that Senator John Cornyn on Twitter earlier today tweeted out a little tribute to the Canadian rocker. You know, he performed this song in 1969, Senator Cornyn, on the BBC. Gordon Lightfoot's been around a long time.
Well, you and I have too, Hugh, I guess if you remember him, but one of my favorites is, strangely enough, Canadian Railroad Trilogy by Gordon Lightfoot. People can look that up. It's one of my favorites.
We'll go out with that because I agree with you. Senator, you're on the Judiciary Committee. I just had Senator Cotton on. I'll put the same question to you that I put to him. He demurred. I do not believe the United States Congress has any authority to compel any kind of financial disclosure from the Supreme Court. That is U.S. term limits v. Thornton. You can neither add to nor subtract from the qualifications for any office. All the Congress can do is impeach a justice if they want to. They cannot regulate their conduct. What do you think?
Well, as usual, I agree with you, Hugh. I went back and I looked at the clip of Joe Biden presiding over the Judiciary Committee hearing of Clarence Thomas in 1991. Folks that aren't our vintage may not remember where Clarence Thomas defended himself, calling the false attacks against him, a high-tech lynching. The attacks against Clarence Thomas haven't stopped since 1991. He's an honorable man. I know Harlan Crow personally. He's an honorable man. This is just a political smear tactic to try to delegitimize the Supreme Court.
And Senator, Justice Gorsuch is an honorable man, and they got after him for... And the Scalia School of Law is a great law school, and they're going after them. By they, I mean hard left. Senator Cotton suggested they're funded by dark money groups. I don't know where they're funded from, but I do know we ought to begin with the Constitution, and it's a separate but equal branch. You were a member of the Texas judiciary. I do not know what the Texas Constitution says about that, but you folks have nothing to do with the Supreme Court after you appoint them, period.
That's right. That's right. This Justice Scalia, among others, pointed out that the one thing that distinguishes our country and our system of government from every other one in the world, including the old Soviet Union, which had a pretty nice constitution on paper, but they didn't have an independent judiciary. And so the independence of the judiciary are really the crown jewels of our system of government and what distinguishes us from every other democracy in the world. And this is an attack against the independence of the judiciary. And as Justice Alito pointed out, this can have very dangerous consequences when the justices are targeted for assassination as a result of these attacks.
I want to go and stay on the court for a moment. Yesterday, they granted cert in the case of Loper Bright, which is considering overturning the Chevron deference doctrine. I've been discussing it all morning with the audience. I hope it's at 6-7-1. Justice Jackson Brown Kennedy has, Justice Jackson has recused herself.
Recused.
Well, yeah, so it could be 6-2. What do you think? 7-1, 6-2?
I hope it's 7-1. It seems odd to me. Well, it just seems wrong to me to say that the authority of these agencies comes from a legislative grant of authority. But if it's ambiguous, then the agency can interpret its authority, the legal question of its authority for itself, and the court will defer to that. That just strikes me as wrong from the beginning, and I hope they overrule the Chevron doctrine.
Okay, last question, Senator, goes to age. You referenced, and it's a fine thing to say. You and I are both seniors. We're both eligible for, and I'm not collecting, I'm sure, I don't know if you are, Social Security, but we are not infirm. I think the President of the United States is infirm, and based on what he did yesterday, what do you think, and should he be running again?
You know, the question I ask myself, in a country of 330 million people, is this the best we can do? And I don't think it is the best we can do. Fortunately, unlike Russia, unlike China, these autocracies, these virtual dictatorships, the great thing about our democracy is we have the capacity to self-correct. And we need to do that in 2024 because the path we're on, obviously looking at every poll, is the wrong path. And we need to get back to basics.
Do your friends across the aisle, and you have many of them, Senator Cornyn, do they ever worry with you about who is running the ship over there? We have less than a minute. I mean, do they ever confess to you worry?
Well, mainly what they say is they're never consulted. I think it's pretty much common knowledge that it's the staff at the White House that runs the show. It certainly isn't President Biden, and they are reading the polls. They're listening to their base, and they're refusing to do important and fundamental things like enforce the law at the border. We've seen the disastrous consequences with this recent shooting by an illegal alien who, by existing law, can't own a firearm, killing 5 people in execution style. It's just outrageous.
Senator John Cornyn, always good to talk to you, Senator. Keep coming back. We're the seniors on the circuit, but we're not going to shut up because we're not infirm. We know what we're doing. Senator Cornyn, good to talk to you. Don't go anywhere, America. I'll be right back tomorrow on the next Hugh Hewitt Show. Go to the universe if you want to hear the grand old pod today. And you got to give us your phone number. You got to sign up for texting if you're going to text us. It's working. It's working. And I can finally do my focus groups.